Well, somebody told me that Li Shang has a boyfriend who looks like a girlfriend that I had in February of last year, so there's gonna be drama.
You never know with him. He's so hot and cold in general, so, like, something like this, who can say?
Do you like Ping? Do you like Mulan? Make up your mind, Li Shang.
Or don't. You can like whoever you like.
You can like both, Li Shang. The number of Letterboxd, like, movie playlists that this movie's on that are titled, like, LGBTQ cinema just, like, blew my mind. I mean, obviously, but, like, the most explicitly gay movie to ever be included on, like, 10,000 gay Letterboxd movies.
Rightfully so.
It's a trans allegory. It's a queer allegory. It's only an allegory, but we'll fucking take it because Li Shang's the first Disney prince to show nip. I'll fucking say it. Because Aladdin had no nipples, if you recall.
I didn't.
Aladdin showed torso, but he had his little vest, and he implied that his nipples were hidden, even though biologically that made no sense.
No.
Aladdin didn't have nipples. Li Shang is our first Disney male love interest, basically.
He's
to show full nip.
Yeah.
He's brave. He's brave for that. He's
brave for a lot of things. For coming to terms with his sexuality.
Bisexual king.
Yeah. For fighting in a war. Hand-to-hand combat. Wild.
Anyways, this is our podcast. It's The Swamp. It's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting. And if you didn't figure it out already, we're talking about Mulan this week to kind of wrap up our, what are we calling it? Our Disguises month?
Disguises, hijinks, tomfoolery through the art of costumage. Basically, I think we started this month with a big gender bendery Mrs. Doubtfire. We are explicitly turning a single father into a nanny.
I think that's what we did for just about this entire month. It was all just gender bending.
That's true. But I think we end the month with also, like, deception. You know, it's deception through the art of costumage, because some of it is just more, like, for shits and gigs. This is for we're fighting a war. The war of divorce. We're circling back to the war of war.
It's true.
This is also the only Disney movie that I can really think of that is dealing with, like, war. Literal conflict.
I guess.
Genocides.
Yeah.
Like, battle. People
There's a couple
died.
that like, deal with, like, genocide and stuff like that, but...
What Disney movie deals with genocide?
Doesn't, like, what is it? I'm thinking of, like, Atlantis. Don't they try to, like, genocide the shit out of, like, the Atlantis?
Yeah, I mean, it's an attempted genocide.
Yeah,
that's super fair. But, like, is Mulan the only Disney princess to, like, kill a man?
That's a good question. I couldn't say.
Is that why I had such an attachment to her as a child? Is I'm like, they gave this bitch a knife. I
have so much to say about this. This movie was made for the lesbians. Okay? For the little bisexual boys. I don't know. Anyway, any fan of voice acting?
It's a fave all around.
Yeah, this is probably my
fave. The target demographic. You and I were both born
98, 99.
And I'm a 98 baby. You don't slander me.
I said like 98, 99.
Oh, okay. Jesus. Well, I'm year of the tiger and you're year of the rabbit. I'd way rather be a tiger than a rabbit. Sorry, bitch.
There, you got me there. I'll give you that.
But I feel like we were in the age where it's like it was sort of released and gained the reverence of being like a good kids movie, so that by the time we were old enough to see good kids movies, like my mom made a good point pretty recently that she was saying she's felt like a lot of the kids movies that were coming out around the time that I was between the ages of like 4 and 8 maybe, like those movies were like not really good, so she said that she felt like she turned back towards the movies that she had seen with like my older cousins when they were younger, like late 90s, early 2000s. She's like, yeah, we just like bought the DVDs of those and watched those a lot rather than the movies that were coming out at that time, just because it was like kind of dipped in quality. Yeah. And she's like, you know, just as a parent, you have to watch a lot things your kids like, right? Like they're like I had a coworker who her kids loved the movie Trolls.
Oh,
and she's like, I have to watch Trolls every day. And I'm like, damn, bitch, that fucking sucks.
That's horrible. Like, yeah, bummer. No, I think my parents did the same thing. Because I never saw, like, movies like Up or anything like that. Any of that Pixar shit. Not shit, but, like, you know what I mean. But I watched a lot of, like, the older classics.
I also think those movies were, like, as we were exiting the time, like, the age frame as well, so it was, like, less, but yeah, definitely, I think I grew up a lot on, like, this, and Hercules, a lot of late 90s, early 2000s, like, Shrek, stuff like that, which, yeah, I guess just makes more sense, because your parents would have had time to, like, filter through what they thought was, like, chill for you to watch.
Exactly.
But this was my, I think, like, ultimate favorite Disney movie growing up. It was definitely, like, if you put a gun to my head and were like, you need to sing all the lyrics to any song, pick one from Mulan, bitch, and I'm fine. Like, there's also only
4 songs that they sing in this movie.
That's true, but that's given of any, like, there's never more than, like, 4 or 5, like, main musical numbers.
That's true.
Like, think of Beauty and the Beast, right? Like, 3, 4, I don't know.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, but they slap so hard.
This is the best movie soundtrack Disney has put out, I think, ever.
I would argue that, yes, I agree that it is the best because contextually, the songs are adding to the story. They are fitting in with the plot of what's happening. And they're all different enough, right? We've got, like, the ballad Reflection. We've got, like, Honor to Us All, which is, like, the introductory, like, story setting song. I'll Make a Man Out of You, which is, like, the hype song. You know, we've got enough variation where I feel like every song provides something really new and different, which I think is rare. Sometimes Disney movies kind of fall flat where I'm like, you didn't need to do both of these, right? Like, pick one. But I think that I would say, like, Tarzan, a lot of the Phil Collins stuff, I would, like, it's like, nicer to listen to. Like, it's actually just, like, better, structurally composed music, but it's good music on top of a good movie. This is good music written with a good movie. Like, it's integrated more deeply, which is why I would say if I did have to rank all of the Disney soundtracks, I will put Mulan at number 1. Like, Tarzan is a close second, but, like, it's good songs that tonally fit a scene rather than, like, songs that are about the scene.
And it's totally different too. Like, I mean, I was thinking, like, Lilo and Stitch, like, that's all, like, just placement and everything like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, Stitch doesn't sing. Like, that's entirely
no one's singing, but, like, the backdrop of Elvis, it does hit.
I was, recently, so Henry, my husband, does this thing where he'll sing, I think I brought this up in a recent episode, but he'll do this thing where he'll sing a line of a song. He'll like, oh, do you know this song? And he'll sing a line, and it won't be from the chorus. It won't be from any, like, common reprisal. It'll be, like, the weirdest, like, second verse, third line. Like, what the fuck? Why is that what you picked? Like, I love that. Like, he comes in, he's like, you know that song, like, I got a plan to get us out of here? And I'm like, what are you saying? And eventually I deduce, oh, that's Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Like, what? Why is that the... Like,
I love that.
So we were at a family party, and he has some younger cousins, and one of his little cousins was talking about how he really likes Aladdin, and he loves the genie from Aladdin. He's like, oh, I love the genie, I love all the songs that the genie does, like, it's so cool. And Henry goes, this guy's got me scared to death. And everyone just kind of, like, washed over it, but I gave him a little side eye, and I was like, no, bitch, I know Mulan too well to know that you fucked up. You just fucked up. And later, he was like, yeah, everyone, like, didn't take my joke very well. And I was like, because that's a line from fucking Mulan, you dumb bitch. Like, this guy's gonna be scared to death. Hope he doesn't see right through me. Now I really wish that I knew how to swim. I was like, that is not from Aladdin. He's like, oh, that's just what came to mind. And I'm like, he also sang the most obscure line of this entire song.
Yeah, what was he thinking?
So if Emily sounds different, that's because her mic wasn't on, but no, it is. We're not a professional podcast, but are we trying to be? I don't really know. Yes and no. I don't really think so. But if you'd like to support us, we don't like to run ads because we don't like to support capitalism in a way that doesn't really vibe with us. Like, people have asked us to run ads, and we're like, we don't fucking want to do that because I just respect.
I'm not putting your ball raiser on my platform.
Exactly. Like, I know that y'all don't want to buy ball raisers, and you certainly don't want to use promo code SWAMP to buy a ball raiser. But we do have a way you can support us. We have a Patreon. You can watch us on video there, and you can also get some bonus content. It's like $2 and something cents a month if you'd like to do that. But also, if you're just listening, you're chill too. Just listen.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're not a professional podcast. We do not have professional recording equipment, and Emily's mic was not working for the first 10 minutes of this. Also for Chocolate or Vanilla, which we recorded. I just like to point it out because sometimes I'm listening to a podcast and suddenly the audio quality like drastically changes, and I'm like, what the fuck? So if we sound different, it's because Emily's mic is on now.
We're here now, though. Can we talk about how sexy they made this movie?
It's so horny. I literally was having vibes of, like, I'm tracing my, like, first references of, like, what being horny felt like to this movie. Yeah. For a really long time, I, like, didn't really get what people, like, found, like, oh, like, that guy is hot. And I was like, I don't really think I know what that means. But I always had a thing about, like, shoulder blades and, like, back muscles. And the initial scene of Li Shang fucking grabbing those poles and he tears off his shirt. We get first Disney Prince nips and his back is rippled. I'm like, that did something to me cosmically that I think defined my sexual preference for the first, like, 10 years of my life.
Yeah, well, see, that, I agree with you there, especially, like, when, like, you're young, but, like, watching it back, I was like, oh, me watching Mulan cut her hair and get into full warrior outfit, that awoke something in me. This movie is for lesbians. I think that this movie was, like, no, I'm so serious.
It's for the trans masks and for the lesbians. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Like, exactly. I was watching this today, and I was just, like, seeing Mulan get into her, like, was it the Honor to Us All, like, during that song, her getting all dolled up to go seeing the matchmaker, that is how I felt every day when I was, like, 15 years old in high school, putting on my skinny jeans, my tight little shirt, like, V-neck shirt, and my infinity scarf, you know what I mean? And now I have, like, no hair.
I was gonna say, no offense, Emily, but we all knew you were gay then, too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Everyone else knew before I did.
No, but it's such a great parallel of her having to get dolled up in a way that she finds very uncomfortable, and then she does the reverse and she cuts her hair and gets into basically, like, boy drag, right? She puts on the armor, and even though she is uncomfortable in it, it's, like, part of, you know, the duty that she's fulfilling, and she is filling that space out, like, way more comfortably than she's filling out the, like, quote-unquote future wife, like, vibes.
Yeah, that's like when a lesbian gets their first flannel. They're like, I don't know how to style this. Do I roll the sleeves? Do I wear it open? Do I close it? What do I don't know. But that's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you just gotta figure it out.
Or like that first big chop, right? You had long hair, and then you're like, I am afraid to, like, get short hair because, like, what if everyone knows what I'm feeling inside, also on the outside, right? Which is, like, Reflection. Yeah. Reflection, the song was written by, the lyrics were by a gay man, and he was like, I didn't really think of anything of it, but then a lot of, like, other young gay men were saying to me, like, oh, like, this song really spoke to me because it's, like, about, you know, your identity and feeling different on the inside than what the outside is perceiving, and he's like, truly, when I wrote it, it was simply for the situation of the song, like, of the movie, right? He's like, I wanted it to be hyper-specific to what this character was dealing with in this moment, and little did I know I was writing something that so many people would relate to, because it is so true, right? It is, like, such a broad statement, like, when will the thing I feel inside also be, like, will I get accepted for, right?
Exactly. No, I love that song. It, like, makes me, like, choke up, like, to this day kind of thing.
Bro, I knew that I was on my period when I was literally getting teary-eyed at this movie.
Oh my god.
I was getting teary-eyed at I'll Make a Man Out of You. What the fuck was up with that,
so
bro?
Yeah, watching Mulan scale it and, like, seeing, like, she's done it. She's really done it.
This movie, though, gives me full-body shivers at multiple moments. Like, even
absolutely.
The very beginning, you get the Great Wall of China, and then Shen Yu. I wrote his name down because his voice made me tingle. his, like, deep voice was, like, really sexy. But he, you know, he's the Huns, which the Huns are, like, the stand-in, basically, for Mongolia in this, like, theoretical war situation. I don't really know if historically they're mirroring an actual war, but I know that Mulan is based off of, like, an old poem from, like,
really?
Yeah, it's from like 400 AD. It was like oral history, basically, super, super old. And it was like, it was, you know, translated through songs and poems, and it was this really ancient piece of Chinese storytelling. And as far as I know, it is basically like what we would read in high school as like Beowulf, right? Is what a lot of like Chinese high schoolers have to read. Mulan is like their like introduction to like old like literature. So our perception of it is like super hyper Americanized because they were like, it's a kids movie, and they're like, it's the thing I have to study for the SATs. Is from, like, my surface level research about it. I guess it's, like, this really old poem, basically, about just this woman who goes to war in place of her father and then comes back to her family, and then only later then do they discover that she's a woman, so it's a little bit different. But I guess Disney, it's, like, a loosely based, but, you know, same character name, same general concept.
Yeah, it's fucking dope. No, I feel you. There's the one scene, I feel you when you were like, I knew I was on my period. What is it? When, her dad comes, this is after she's kind of, like, disgraced herself and her family, like, in front of the matchmaker or whatever, and they're sitting down under the cherry blossom tree, and you just start, and it's, like, so, like, not stereotypical, I guess like, not corny, but like kind of like the big Disney spiel where he's like, oh, look at this one hasn't bloomed yet, I bet it's gonna be the most beautiful out of all of them when it does. And I was just sitting there and I like let out like a choke.
But then they're like, you have to go to war, and Mulan's like, no, and he's like, you're a fucking disgrace.
Literally. I was like, damn. Dude, he changed up quick on her.
It's like, I know you hate women, but, like, keep it a little more subtle.
Relax.
It's also, like, so this movie did invent feminism. 1998, this movie invented feminism. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. But I do think that, like, this movie is a great piece of, like, introduction to feminism and women empowerment for, like, a lot of, you know, young female viewers.
Oh, absolutely.
Right up until the fucking end, bro. So, like, quick recap, you've never seen Mulan.
Very much, like, you can see it, like, the conversation in the Disney office happening.
She can't be too empowered, right? Like,
it's exactly, like, the way that, like, Greta Gerwig's Little Women ends. Like, when they're in the office with the publisher, and Joe's like, no, I'm not gonna write a happy ending. And he's like, just do it for the girls, please. You know what I mean? And then she does it. It's the exact same thing.
No.
Because Mulan ends up, like, getting with, like...
Li Shang.
Li Shang. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I feel... So, basically, if you've never seen Mulan, lightning fast recap. Mulan, she's 16. She... Well, yes. I only knew this because I Googled it, because I was like, how old is she? She's 16. She's basically being married off Bridgerton style. Basically, we're gonna show you off to the high court people, and they're gonna decide who in town is a good match for you based on economic status and also how ladylike you are. She really fucks it up because she's just 16. Yeah. She's just a fucking girl, and she's like, I don't know how to be a ladylike. I'm normal. Her family also seems pretty, like, middle class. Like, they're, like, fine. Yeah. They're not, like, fancy, but they're doing fine. And they're all kind of like, oh god, Mulan, you gotta really do good so that you can marry up, and she's kind of like, I'm not really into that. So she kind of fucks the whole thing up. The war is happening between China and Mongolia. They don't ever call them Mongolia, they just call them the Huns, but it's like, it's implied that they're from Mongolia. Yeah. But also the characterization and the stylization of the villain in this movie is so fucking weird to me, because as a child, I truly thought that those were zombies. Their skin is gray.
They do look like zombies.
Their skin is gray, and their eyes are yellow, and they look only like people.
It's scary,
right? And so I think it was meant to be like, to make them noticeably scary and to be physically different from the people of China, but they just made them look so, like, absurdly zombie-like that it's, like, bordering on a little bit maybe racist to me. Like, I just don't understand why they couldn't have just made them
it's just
different outfits. Like, we understood who the good guys and the bad guys were. You did not have to make them look like so undead. Like, that was quite odd to me, because truly growing up I was like, are those zombies or are those guys? Like, I don't really know. But basically, China and Mongolia are in a war. Mulan decides to take her father's place because he's old, he's already served, and he also, like, clearly has, like, a limp. He's been in combat. He's kind of revered as, like, maybe not a war hero, but, like, a guy. Who's been around. And she's like, well, I don't want him to go again because he will literally die. Like, he cannot fucking hold his own. So she cuts off all her hair. She dresses up in boy drag, and she goes off and takes the, like, notice, and leaves for her family behind her hair clip so that they know that she left in his stead. And she joins the army. She says her name is Ping. She has Mushu, who's Eddie Murphy, and also a cricket and her horse, who are kind of coaching her through, like, being a boy. There are some other soldiers who are like, oh, yeah, we're also guys, and, you know, we're all gonna sing and learn how to fight in war. And Li Shang, his dad is a general, and he is, like, a general in training.
Basically. He's a Nepo baby.
Yeah, and so his dad is a big war guy, and he's like, we'll give you this, like, shitty army to train so that you can, like, kind of prove yourself or whatever. And then basically they go and they find that Li Shang's dad is fucking dead, and then that they have to fight the Huns. Basically there's like 20 of them. They're hardly an army.
Literally.
Mulan pivots, takes the cannon, blasts it at the mountain, and avalanches down a bunch of fucking snow to kill all the Huns. But no, they're not killed. They're just buried in snow. And it turns out that
most of them are dead.
Some of them are dead. Mulan did kill. Mulan does canonically kill.
Yes, canonically, like, dude, her kill count is crazy. I'd say she evens the playing field. I'd say there's probably, like, 20 and 20 left at this point.
But she gets injured, and basically they tend to her wounds and are like, titties! No! And he's like, you did save all our lives, but that does not make up for the fact that I fucking hate women. So I'm gonna, like, spare your life. He's like, treason. This is literal treason. But I'm gonna spare your life by just leaving you here in the fucking snow by yourself. I'd be like, bro, decapitate me. If you leave me out here in the snow, that's like a slow, painful, awful death.
Yeah.
I'm like, take my life.
He left her a horse.
Hardly. But so she makes it, though. She makes it, and she gets out and sees that the Huns are gonna come raid the city, who's holding a parade in honor of the war victory that she fucking did. And they're all out there on their horses like, hee, we did the thing, ooh. Men taking credit for women's success. And then she basically comes up and is like, Li Shang, you need to listen to me. And he's like, how can I say how much I hate women without directly saying those words? Literally, do not even look at me. And the rest of them are kind of like, we're being subservient, so we are not gonna do anything. And she's like, literally telling random people, like, the Huns are here. And they're like, ew, you're a girl with short hair? Kill yourself. Yeah. And basically she finds a way, when things come to a head, all the Huns Trojan horse their way in and capture the Emperor. And she's like, will you please listen to me now? And all of them are like, yeah, I guess. And so they get all into girl drag, which is really cute and cunty, and they climb their way up, they trick the guys, they kill them, they win, they save the day, and Mulan, all of China bows to her because she's a bad bitch. And then the Emperor is like, you're not like most girls. You deserve a spot on my council. And she's like, I just love my family. And then she goes back home to her family, and Li Shang is like, I'm here because you forgot your helmet. And also, I thought you were a boy, and I wanted to fuck you, and that made me confused, and I didn't like it. And so now that I know that you're a girl, even though I directly told you to your face that I don't respect you, I still think that maybe we should hang out sometime.
Yeah. And Can I still be your baby daddy?
And Mulan's grandma is like, hell yeah. And then the movie ends.
See, the only two that I want to get together in this movie is Mulan's grandmother and the Emperor.
Really?
Match made in heaven.
I thought you were gonna say Mulan's grandma and the guy who's voiced by James Hong, the Emperor's assistant.
No.
Who, like, you know, gets no pussy or whatever.
That's, like, I can just see it, like, him being, like, the very supportive and kind husband, and she's batshit crazy, and he's just like, I love my wife.
I love my crazy wife. I love the grandma. There was this really early, like, I don't even think it's a meme. Like, I don't even think enough people were on this shit for it to, like, actually have been considered a meme. But when Instagram first allowed, like, short-form video content, like, I'm not even talking reels. I'm talking just, like, you could have a video as your post, right? Like, pretty early days.
Yeah.
It was this one account who only posted a clip of the grandma during the Honor to Us All song when she goes, beads of jade. And that's it. And it was every day. At the same time, it was just called Beads of Jade. And I loved that shit. I was like, at Beads of Jade? Yes. Why did that crack my shit up? I don't know.
I wonder if it's still going.
Honestly, probably. Beads of Jade. For beauty. Also, if you look up the lyrics to that song, fucked. There's some fuckery happening.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Men like girls with good taste, small, obedient, who work fast-paced, with good breeding and a tiny waist. You'll bring honor to us all.
Mind you, the matchmaker looks at Mulan and said, too skinny for babies.
Right, they're like, you need to be snatched. And then she said, no childbearing hips here.
Literally. Yeah, as much as the lyrics are not great.
Slaps. I would like to think, though, that a lot of the, like, negativity in this movie is coming from a place where you as an audience are supposed to be actively critiquing it. Mulan getting all dolled up to be match made, we're not really vibing with that as an audience. No. We're like, nah, Mulan should do what she wants, you can see, right? Like, we're not actively as an audience being like, yeah, Mulan should get married. Like, that's not it. Also, like, the sort of sexist things that are happening during, like, all the army training scenes and the, you know, a girl worth fighting for, we're also, it's in jest. It's, as an audience, we're supposed to be like, oh, those are shitty men, right? It's,
yeah, you know better.
I'm, like, willing to give a lot of that a pass, just because I'm, like, I just think that it was done in a light that it's, like, if you're not a fucking idiot, you get it, but it is also a kid's movie, so I think a lot of kids could also like, take it maybe the wrong way. But the thing that I will, like, say about this movie a little questionably is, like, it is a piece of media based in China, made by a very American company, in a light that's maybe, like, not super historically accurate. Like, I know that they got a lot of Asian people to do the voice acting, but then, like, Americans to do the singing, right? Like, Li Shang's voice, his voice is an Asian man, but his singing is Donny Osmond. Yeah. And, like, they tried, I'm gonna say for 1998, that they did a pretty okay job of getting a fair amount of actual Asian voice actors to do this movie, but, like, I would have liked to see more. And then also just, like, the stylization and the characterization, a lot of, like, quote-unquote Chinese elements in this movie are not super accurate. Like, their armor looks very Japanese-inspired. That's just historically inaccurate. They use a lot of drums. That's very Korean. Like, a lot of... It's, like, an amalgamation of a lot of Asian cultures, which is just a super Americanized way to look at, like, you know, quote-unquote, like, Asian culture, right? Like, let's not all meld it together. Like, let's be a little more nuanced than that, which you would hope that today... Maybe they would have that kind of take, but it was 1998. I'm not gonna say it was right of them to do it then, because it wasn't.
You didn't see the live action Mulan, did you?
I didn't. I remember that was, like, the first movie to get, like, pushed by COVID. I just remember it was, like, the first movie in my memory that, like, had a release date that was, like, when COVID was happening, and it got pushed, and it was one of those first ones that was, like, released straight to Disney Plus because of the pandemic, and, like, financially, you know, kind of navigating that situation was, like, a big hot topic. But I also remember when it coming out, like, I was excited about it initially, but then a lot of controversy came out around, like, the ethics of the filming of it, and I guess that they, like, filmed it on, like, land where this indigenous Muslim group lived, which, don't quote me on any of this, go look it up for yourself, but I guess that they, like, filmed it in a place where, like, literal human rights abuses were happening, which was, like, really not chill of them to be filming a Disney movie, spending trillions of dollars to, like, make this thing happen where, like, people were literally, like, getting killed in their homes. So, I don't know, you can look into it, but I just remember it being, like, this, like, weird thing, and then the movie got pushed, so it just sort of all got swept under the rug. But I never saw it, I never watched it, I never really cared to after all of that, because I'm like, this was also sort of the point where I realized that all of the Disney Plus original content and new Disney, like, live action movies are just so, like, capitalistically soulless and artless and just like did not really have a lot to them. I really have no interest personally. Like going forward, I don't really fuck with any of the Disney Plus shows. I don't really fuck with the live action remake movies.
Yeah,
it's
not
just
really
not
for me.
It's not for me.
It's not for me, dog.
But I guess that they did try to take a more action movie approach to it. I think it was like the first PG-13 live action remake where they tried to make it more of an action movie than like a one-to-one remake of the original cartoon movie, which is just about all I know about it, is that they tried to make it more like action-y. You know who's gonna bring honor to this podcast? My mother, Jen. She's here to host her interim podcast segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. She says two things. We all say which one we like better. Jen, how are you today?
I am pretty good. How are you guys?
Not too bad.
Solid.
Nice.
And is there a theme this week?
There is a theme. So, you know that I love a good lyric. So this is good lyrics from songs, and it is pretty Disney heavy. I'm also going to say that I think one of my pet peeves is when people speak lyrics, so I might kind of sing them a little bit, but that might be worse because you might not recognize them. So.
Honestly, I think anyone who's gotten to this point in our podcast knows that none of us are, like, vocally talented. Every time I try to sing, I give, like, 40 preface, like, I'm so sorry, and then I apologize after as well. I'm like, I'll never sing again. Then the next week, I'm like, you must be swift as the coursing river.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but you're not here for vocal talent.
You're here for vocal fry.
Yeah.
Alright, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
I'm gonna go strawberry. It's been a big strawberry summer around here. First one, let's get down to business. Like, let's get down to business. Or, there's no place I'd rather be than on a surfboard out at sea.
Really, you know, you're pitting two queens against each other, but I do have to say, the Mulan soundtrack has a special place in my car that is borderline car accident level me impairing my driving skills because I'm that into singing it. So I am gonna have to give it to Let's Get Down to Business.
Down to business, yeah.
And you have to do the drums like with your voice too. Like it's like I'm in an a cappella group, but I am all of the members. I'm trying to harmonize with myself when I'm singing Mulan.
That's fair. That's a really tough one, but that song from Lilo and Stitch like makes me feel like young again. And like that's like will make me feel like if I'm having one of those days where I'm just so down, so like deeply sad, and that song comes on, I gotta crack a smile. You know what I mean? That song, I love that song. I love that opener.
So I'm gonna go with them. I think Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride is a really, really good song. Next one is Who Put the Glad in Gladiator? Or What Can I Say Except You're Welcome?
Okay, it's gotta be Hercules. Have you seen that they're talking the rumors of the cast for the live action version?
Oh, who's gonna be Hercules?
And are they saying it's? Oh no! So there's two live action Disneys that are being rumored right now of the cast, and it's Tangled, and they're saying that Florence Pugh is gonna be the Tangled bitch, and that it's gonna be. It's going to be directed by Baz Luhrmann, who did Moulin Rouge and the Elvis movie, which is like, okay, whatever. But then also they're saying that for Hercules, I don't know if they said for Hercules, but Ariana Grande is in talks to be Meg.
I don't like that. She's not mean enough. She's not.
You know who it should be? It should be her cunty counterpart from Victorious, the fucking bitch who plays Jade.
Oh my god, yes!
It should be her. Like, that's Meg.
I don't give a shit about Ariana Grande. I have never really, like, been on her train or anything like that. She has never done anything for me. She had, like, a couple of songs that I really fucked with from her first album, and that's it. I'm over it. She's not a girl's girl.
She's not a girl's girl.
But I'm also gonna go for Hercules.
Yeah, Hercules for this week. Next one is Rihanna. You put on quite a show, really had me going. Now it's time to go. Take a bow. Or you get the limo up front from Hannah Montana.
Ooh, ah, ooh, Heart of stars, every shoe, every color. I mean, God, it's like you're putting a gun to my head, Jen.
Yeah, pitting two things against each other on this.
I guess I instinctively sang the rest when you did Hannah Montana, and I didn't do it with the first one, so I have to give it to Miss Miley. Like,
I think those lyrics were more impactful in my life, so I'm gonna agree with Dara on this one.
All right, I'm gonna go with Rihanna. Next one. When I was 13, I had my first love.
There's nobody that compared to my baby. There's nobody that competitions are gonna ever come above. She had me going
crazy. And the next one is my ex-man brought his new girlfriend.
Ooh.
She's like, oh my God.
I am not a Taylor Swift hater. I know that there's a lot of haters, and I know that the fans will come with weapons. So I'm not a T Swift hater, but I am not a T Swift girly. I can respect that her bops are bops, but I'm not spending $800 to go to the Eras tour. No. You know, like, that's where I'm at. I'm not fucking with it like that. I'm also not fucking with Justin Bieber like that, but that was one of the things in my, like, early teen years that I was like, I want to be too cool for this. Like, I don't want to like Justin Bieber. It's stupid, and I recognize that it's popular and lame, yet it was so fucking catchy that I could not escape it. I was like, this is a bop. I'm sorry. It's on my playlist. Like, I cannot escape or avoid the fact that I am just intrinsically drawn to this music. I was a Bieber girly.
Really?
I mean, not like hardcore, but like definitely when the first bops were coming out, I wasn't like thirsting on him on the internet, you know, but I was listening. My ears were tuned in.
I was never a Justin Bieber girly, and I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie either by any means, but my partner Maya has recently gotten really deep into the gay Taylor Swift hole, and I've been dragged into it as well. And there's a lot, and it's very interesting. Like, like, just hearing that lyric enough, I'm like, okay, how is this related to Karlie Kloss? So I'll go for... I will go for Taylor Swift on this one.
We don't want to speculate on anyone's sexuality, but I also do very much buy into the T-Swift LGBTQism conspiracy.
Can I sidebar? Because, Jen, you'll find this interesting. Dara, have you heard about her and Diana Agron conspiracy?
That's a good
They
couple.
look like cousins.
No. The conspiracy is that they had like a fling or like a relationship or something like that, and she has this song called Wonderland, I think, and it was written after Diana Agron that was like her thing. She loved Alice in Wonderland and all that shit. She had like an Alice in Wonderland tattoo, like was posting about it on Tumblr and all that shit. After that song came out, got the tattoo removed. Yeah.
Oh, so it has to be. Yeah, I love the T-Swift conspiracy theory girlies work harder than the fucking FBI, bro.
It's like, insane. The amount that I know about Karlie Kloss and her relationship is crazy. I know where they vacationed. Apparently Taylor Swift, like, goes and puts, like, she's like, I put Easter eggs in my music for you guys to find. And all that shit. And I'm like, I believe it. I'm on the Gaylor train right now.
Gaylor.
I am gonna go with I'm a Swiftie, so I'm gonna go with Taylor Swift. But
I'm a Swiftie.
I definitely memorized both of these like very small rap sequences like back in the day. Like I can definitely do them. Okay, next one is Cold Like Minnesota. Or, 'cause it's too cold for you here. So now let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater.
Stop, Jen.
You're classic.
Oh my god.
I hate Jesse Rutherford, but like...
That song just mentally took me to like a Tumblr dashboard full of just, I can never escape it. It haunts me. It haunts me. And Cold Like Minnesota, I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same.
Not the same.
Little Yachty?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the...
Sweater Weather. Come on.
Yeah, I'm going for Sweater Weather on this one as well.
Bitches changed their Tumblr themes because of this song.
Facts.
This song defined a generation of Tumblr bloggers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go Cold Like Minnesota. Cold Like Minnesota. Last one. These guys don't appreciate I'm broke, from Aladdin. Or Up on the Shore they work all day, out in the sun they slave away, from Little Mermaid.
Under the Sea is one of oh my god, it is just one of the S tier Alan Menken originals to grace our earbuds growing up. Yeah, it's gotta be Under the Sea. It's just it's a perfect piece of music. Yeah. No notes.
Easily, yeah, Under the Sea.
Yeah, same. So that is it for catchy lyrics, chocolate or vanilla.
Love.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Jen. And we appreciate your attempt to sing. I would not have been so brave. I would have done the talk singing, which...
Yeah.
We all hate. So.
I agree. It is worse, Jen. You're right.
It was from bad to worse, but...
It's Jen and I listen to this trivia podcast where sometimes they do songs, it's like trivia, but they do it MIDI, so it's like beep, boop, 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 so they put all the songs into like beep, boop, 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 boop sound, but it's so like jarring to your earbuds that you're like, I can't even focus on what song this is because it's so like beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. Anyways, Jen, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.
All right, I love you guys. Have an awesome night. Bye.
Love you too.
Bye, Jen. Do we want to jump into some questions?
Yeah, so
this week
I just put out on Instagram some questions. So if you submitted them, I literally only gave the real-time viewers about 2 hours. So if you didn't do it soon enough, that's okay. Well, like, it's not okay. I'm not going to read them, but I'm sorry to all you who did them too late. But let's see. Oh, okay. So, at the _Ava_Madison said, if you could have your own dragon sidekick, what celebrity would you have voice them? This is a fucking awesome question.
Brilliant question.
I
like this.
So,
in my head, I immediately thought, I was like, why are they referencing Raya and the Last Dragon or whatever? And I was like, oh my god!
Are you saying Aquafina, Emily? Because that's fucked up.
No, I would never. Come on. I got a way better answer than that.
To me, I'm like character designing my little sidekick dragon. He's definitely like very Muppety, very like floppy. He has no bones.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about this, like, I think one of my favorite voice actors is Keith David, who does the Black Cat in Coraline. But to me, he's such that specific character that I don't think that, like, he would be my dragon sidekick. He just is, like, more of that Black Cat Coraline character to me. So I don't think I can, like, recast him quite as my dragon sidekick. Because he also, I think he needs to be a little bit goofy. Because I'm also thinking, like, what kind of sidekick? I'm also kind of like, I'm like a man of a Muppet, and I need, like, a Muppet of a man, you know, kind of vibe.
Makes sense.
So,
does make sense.
I'm gonna I want Jack Black to voice my dragon sidekick. I want comedic relief.
That checks out.
I want that for me.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense for you.
What about you?
So I was thinking recently about, or not recently, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about what I had seen recently, with good voiceovers and everything like that. And I just think it would be really fun to have Judi Dench as my my dragon sidekick.
Love.
She did the voiceover for like the Barbie intro and everything like that. That's like based on like what is it? The parody of what's it called?
I really thought that was Cate Blanchett.
No. That's Judi Dench.
Or who's, like, the narrator in Barbie? Judi Dench is the narrator?
Judi Dench, yeah. You thought it was Cate Blanchett?
Why did I fully think that was Cate Blanchett? I'm just an idiot.
No. Dame Judi Dench?
Dame.
Maybe? Dame Judi Dench. Yeah, I want my dragon sidekick to sound fucking regal, dude.
Posh as hell.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I love that.
So then she can, like, ream me, and, like, it still sounds, like, a little silly goofy, because she's really posh, and she's yelling at me.
I love that.
To, like, wise up. Yeah.
Love that question. Thank you, Ava Madison.
Yeah, outstanding. Yeah, thank you.
At _Carly Moore, friend of the pod, Carly Moore. Fave song from Mulan. Parentheses, can only choose one. Which, thank you for specifying, because I would have just...
Yeah, that's really tough.
It's gotta make a man out of you.
That makes sense for you.
Yeah, that's the hype beast fucking
That's, like,
moment.
always been you.
That's the hype
That's
beast
always been you.
moment of this fucking movie, bro. Like,
nothing
gets me turned up.
It's true, but as much as that song is brilliant, I think that the showcasing of... I don't know who the voice actress was that sung Mulan's part. But, like, Reflection showcases her so well, and it's just, like we talked about before, it's such a beautiful song. It's so well written. It's a tearjerker, and it just does it for me. So I'm gonna go with Reflection on this one.
You know, Christina Aguilera did a cover of this song.
I did.
That was, like, on, like, the Disney, like, I don't know if it plays, like, later during the credits, because the first song during the credits is a mind-boggling artist collaboration between the boy band 98 Degrees and Stevie Wonder. That song that's like, true to your heart, you got to be true to your heart.
Yeah.
That, like, wild. Who paired those two together? But then, I think later, Christina Aguilera, she was part of the Mickey Mouse Club, like that kids' TV show with Britney Spears and Ryan Gosling, like all those child stars. So she was in that, so she was kind of had her foot in the door. But I think she was like 17 or 18, and she recorded a cover of Reflection, and it made it onto like a lot of those like Disney CDs or whatever. And she had no music career before that. So, you know, she said $50K for a verse, no album out. I'm gonna fucking cover Reflection and get my fucking shit out there, and then immediately she was like one of the biggest fucking pop stars. Yeah. This is 1998, so to think like, you know, her stuff in the early 2000s was hitting. So wild.
Yeah, I never knew that.
My bestest friend, Rachel, at Rachel_T_M, says, Bing bong or hee haw? These are two phrases that her and I just incorporate into our everyday lexicon. You just say, if you're like bing bong, it's just like a bing bong, you're just bing bonging around, but also you can hee haw like a donkey, like hee haw. I'm more of a bing bong, me. Yeah. I'm more of a bing bong.
I think I'm gonna have to bing bong with you on this one.
Yeah, I'm bing bong. I'm Uncle Bing Bong. She recently gave birth to a child, and I'm registered in her like fucking baby library as like Uncle Bing Bong, which is
that's
like
so funny.
You know those TikToks that are like, I'm your Uncle Hee Haw and I think you're gonna be a girl, like, you know, at the baby shower. That's me. But it's
that
not
is very you.
Oh, and then Ellie DiCaprio, who was a guest on our Cadet Kelly episode, which I would also recommend as a follow-up to this movie, now that I'm thinking of it. Cadet Kelly, women in the military, women serving the military-industrial complex vibes. But E. DiCaprio, hilarious comedian, go follow them on Instagram and on TikTok. Very funny. They said, should Mulan have been a trans man, or at least not fall in love with that basic army guy? Hell yeah. I fucking agree, because at the end of this, I think snatches all the feminism out of this fucking movie, because the thing that Mulan wants to do is, like, protect her family, and, like, bring honor to the family, but mostly she loves her family so much that she's willing to put herself in that situation to protect her family, right? And the whole romance of it doesn't really vibe with me, because they never had that kind of relationship. It was a superior subordinate relationship that entire time, under the pretense that Mulan was a man. And the minute he found out she was a woman, he's like, I've lost all respect for you. So how can you possibly see a person like that and be like, I think marriage with this person will be excellent? Like, absolutely fucking not. But also the fact that Mulan gets then offered, so the emperor is like, she's not like most girls, which I think is so damaging to a lot of, like, progressive feminist thought, this, like, I'm not like most girls, I'm not like the other girls mindset, or you know, she's not like the other girls, because it's like saying that all women fucking suck, but this one is special, right? Like, all women shouldn't vote, they shouldn't be in the military, but this one, she proved that she can do it. So, maybe we should just respect her and none of the other ones, which is just such a awful and degrading mindset. And he's like, you should have a place on my council, and she's like, I'm all set, I'll go home. And I would have liked to see an ending of this movie where it's like Mulan fucking rejoining. I mean, she doesn't have to rejoin the army, but like train other girls to be in the army or do something in your community. I don't know, her just going home, getting acceptance from her dad, and then getting the husband is so lame. It's so fucking lame.
There is a second Mulan movie. I don't remember the plot for it,
I've seen it, so I believe it starts with them getting married. And then it's about the other 3 sidekicks, Yao, Ling, and Qianpo, getting girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's about, like, their little side quest of love interests, from what I remember. But it's that Mulan and Li Shang, I think, start the movie, like, fully married.
Yeah, something like that. But while we were doing this, we did get one more question from stan.connor.stan. If you could see a statistic above people's heads without them knowing, what would it be?
Number of times they've jacked off in the past week.
Interesting.
Sorry, that's just that's the first thing that came to my head. That's so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe a statistic. Any statistic?
I would want to know how many like gay thoughts they're having that day.
Gay thoughts?
Yeah. Especially for like for men that like call themselves like really straight or like see themselves as really straight. And especially like, going along with the theme of this movie.
Because Li Shang, he wanted to fuck that twink. Ping. Facts. He must have had some sort of attraction to Ping, because that's when he found out she was a girl. He was so upset because he's like,
it's like, yeah. I'm like thinking along the lines of there was that recent there was this stupid recent interview or something on like some Fox talk show or whatever, that one of these commentators was talking about Donald Trump's recent mugshot, and he said, I say this with an impeccable record of heterosexuality. He looks hard, or whatever, you know what I mean? Or some shit like that. It was like something along the lines of him like talking about how good he looked or whatever, like in his mugshot, which is goofy enough. But like I want to know, like, because that's gay.
Yeah.
That's sure. You have an impeccable record of heterosexuality. I want to know how many thoughts some of these like men are having that are really like homoerotic. They have no concept of it.
I want the job that I'm like the little angel, right, in the afterlife who's monitoring the data. Because you're the only individual who gets to view this, so I'm, like, scanning your surrounding area, and I have to determine, like, what thoughts of theirs. I'm like, gay, 1%, not gay, 1%, right? Like, I'm, like, actively sorting, like, through their gay or ungay thoughts. Because statistic does imply it has to be, like, a number or a percentage, right? Because I can't be like, the day they die. Like, that's not a statistic.
Yeah, no.
A statistic over their head. Incredibly interesting. There was, like, a young adult novel that I read growing up that was about a girl who, when she looked into people's eyes, she saw the date that they died. So all of, like, like her family and her friends, they'd all be like, why are you looking at me funny? And it was, because she was like, I knew that they die, like, tomorrow. And it was super edgy. It was, like, super, like, edgy teen girl book.
Yeah.
But I remember it was the first time I ever read the word tits. And it was in that book. Because it was, like, it had a sex scene or whatever. And I remember, like, asking my mom, I was like, what are tits? And she was like, well, I guess I didn't preview this book before you read it.
I think I want to know the last time you shit yourself.
Mine is more recent than I would like to admit. I'm gonna be real with you.
I think a lot of people have that.
Is that a statistic? Yeah. I think it is. Yeah, the date of the last time you pooped your pants. Oh. And then you just look at people, you're like, I know. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna be thinking that's a good question.
Right? That's a good one. We should put that on our
maybe
that should be a public
I'll
one.
put all of these on our public when the episode comes out. Stan, Connor, Stan, that's a great question.
That's a great question.
So if we want to get into some of our regularly scheduled programming, do you want to say who are like our so
I don't know.
I
just want to marry the Emperor.
Yeah, let's just do the whole movie because I'm gonna exclude Mulan because I think she's canonically underage, unsure, but who's to say? But I'm gonna say that I'm gonna marry the grandma. I'm gonna fuck the dad.
Yeah, I'm fucking the dad.
And
their goatees, something about their goatees is really hot.
Or maybe one of the ghosts. I would like be into fucking a ghost just to see what's up.
That'd be wild.
And then I'm gonna kill.
That's like full body. That's full body with that.
And then who am I gonna kill? Who hates women the most in this movie? Honestly, I think Li Shang hates women the most.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna fuck the father. I'm gonna marry the Emperor. I think the person that hates women and who I'm gonna kill is the Emperor's assistant.
Yeah. Chifu.
I don't know.
That's Chifu. So, you know James Hong, who plays the grandpa in Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah.
He's the voice of the Emperor's
Shut
assistant.
the fuck up. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Icon.
Love that.
And then, what are you gonna eat and drink with this? I think it's kind of shitty of me to say, maybe, but I think that this is like a hyper-Americanized version of a piece of Chinese culture, right? So, what is also just a hyper-Americanized piece of Chinese culture? Literally any Chinese food you get in America. Mm-hmm. But I think, like, even beyond that is, like, Trader Joe's, right? Like, what is the most commercialized fucking Americanized piece of, like, we've deduced something that is probably not even true to Chinese culture and just, like, extracted to the point of, like, mass production and mass American consumption. And that feels very Mulan to me, so I just think you fucking get both the dumplings and the orange chicken from the Trader Joe's frozen section are excellent, but...
Yeah, it's true. And what are you gonna drink?
In real life, this is not sponsored, but High Noon has come out with a new set of High Noons called the Game Day Pack, and they have cranberry, pear, black cherry, and grapefruit. And I don't fuck with grapefruit, but it's the closest I've ever gotten to a pack of seltzers being flavors that don't suck fucking ass. Like, a seltzer pack always has, like, one that's good, one that's mid, one that's bad but drinkable, and one that is right? It's always that. And it's like, if two are fine, that's, like, great. To me, this is, like, three mid yeses and one no, which is just, like, great. It's not a great suggestion, but it is available and it's seasonal on the market presently. What about you?
This movie, it was really giving me Butch vibes, so I wanted to keep it still fruity. So for my drink, I went with a ginger and bourbon pear cocktail, which sounded really good. It's like 2 ounces of bourbon, 2 ounces of pear nectar, half a lemon juiced, and then like a ginger honey simple syrup, and then like a little bit of ginger ale to top it off with. It's still fruity, but you got the bourbon in there, you know what I mean? But, like, pear is a little soft.
It's like a hearty.
Yeah.
It's like fruity, but still...
And then I say you make, like, a bit of a steak with this, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, you're in the army, you're, like, fighting. You want a steak.
Exactly.
I feel that.
A steak, do it however you want. Like, you know, if you want to make it, like a soy glazed steak or anything like that, go for it. If you want to go classic, butter basted and all that shit with some mashed potatoes, who am I to tell you what to do?
If I were to pretend to be a man, like, in the army, I wouldn't last a fucking day. But I do think just, like, if I had to disguise myself as a man in some social situation, I think I could pass as, like, a barbecue guy. Like, a guy who's really into, like, rubs and salts and, like, knows the smoker. Even though I don't really. I think I've been around enough guys like that to like know the verbiage.
I think you can,
into like
you can like bluff enough. Personally, for me, I would make my steak with like a chimichurri.
Ooh, hot. What do you follow this up with? My initial first two thoughts were Tarzan, just because of timeline, good soundtrack, Disney nostalgia. Also, a Goofy movie. It sits in that same pocket of nostalgia for me. But I think ultimately, I do just have to say, you just watch Moulin Rouge. You watch another Mulan. Moulin Rouge.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this was probably a movie that I saw, like, my first, like, really, like, badass woman in. But I remember very vividly watching Kill Bill for the first time and being like, oh, this bitch is a badass kind of thing.
Yeah, they don't let you see girls kill people a lot in movies. Women don't get to straight up murder people a lot.
So I'm gonna say Kill Bill.
And then, what are you gonna give this movie out of 10? I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
I think it's good and it holds up and it's very nostalgic to me, but I also think to recognize the things about it that aren't great are also a, valid part of the viewing experience as an adult, but still do not detract from the fact that I can have a really good time when I'm watching it. It's one of those, I put it on and I was like fully engaged and I was like, oh my god, even though I like know all the lines, I'm still very much like here for it.
Totally agree.
And thank you all for listening. Check all of our links in the description below. Thank you so much to all the people who, with your snappy responses to my Instagram story, who got questions in all the time. I'll try to do that more in the future for episodes, hopefully like more than literally 20 minutes before we record in advance. But love you all. Thank you so much. And be sure to check out our Patreon if you're interested in giving us $2 of your money per month. We do some bonus content, just, shooting the shit, talking about extra stuff, covering extra movies, all of that. You also get video versions of all the episodes if you want to see what we look like. Also, I edit them less, so you get more of our, awkward in-betweeny moments, if that is, appealing to you for whatever reason. Editing video and editing audio are kind of different. But thank you all for listening. Continue, as always, to send in your movie suggestions. Our next month theme comes a lot from the really great suggestions y'all put in for last month, which was just listener suggested month. We took a lot of those and sort of amalgamated, formed a theme from a lot of really good suggestions from that. So thank you all, but continue to send them in. We love you. We keep them all on a list with your names, and we pull from it all the time. Also, movies I've never heard of. So many of you write in are like, oh, have you ever heard of this? And I'm like, no, but I'm so interested now. Because y'all are fucking cool, and we love you. Goodbye and good night.